we must bring in the creator of what I would say are some of the biggest and most beautiful websites on the interwebs. I mean, Peachy, which David is co-founder of. I mean, brother, they've worked with everybody. Magic Mind, MarsMen, Maya. I mean, it's just, it goes up and to the right. And I've heard tinglings of the Frankenstein stack framing. I don't exactly know what that means, but I would love to hear more from him on it. We must welcome inside of this show right now the one and only David Khandrius. In here.
Let's go, David. On, guys? How are you?
Let's go, David. Man, we appreciate you making the time to join us, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
David, man, you have got to tell us. You got to tell us. I think Peachy's been around 5, 6, 7 years, something like this.
Yeah, we're going on our 7th year now.
Hey, brother,
let's go. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Man, how have you guys come to build like the most beautiful websites on the internet for some of the biggest brands inside of our space? Like, how did all this happen, David?
Yeah, I mean, funny story. We never set out to start an agency. Myself, Michael, and Troy, who I think you guys know well, we were building a team for our own ecom products, right? I've been in e-commerce since I was 14, pretty much sold everything you can imagine on the internet. And we just kind of fell into the space. And, to this day, we don't really prospect for business. Most of our, clients that we work with, they're referral based. They come in, and we really just try to work with kind of the coolest brands on the market, try to learn new industries, new verticals, and ultimately, improve the e-commerce industry as a whole.
Wow. I mean, the laundry list of amazing customers you've worked with is, MarsMen, Magic Mind. Could you talk us through kind of the process of what it looks like to make a great site?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the initial thing is always the design, right? Like, what is this going to look like? What is it going to feel like? What are the emotions that a brand is trying to evoke? What are they trying to get across to their user? And then the second thing is, what is the funnel, right? What is the experience that your customer is going to go through as they progress from seeing your website first on a landing page that they might have gotten to from an Instagram ad, to going through your products, your catalog, and then actually making the purchase. And, a lot of people say, oh, well, this is just a development agency. And I would say that the actual development is probably the smallest part of our work, right? Especially with Claude Code and everything, right? Writing the code is probably now the easiest part, right? The majority of the work is the strategy, right? It's understanding how do you get the person from seeing your ad to actually converting and making a purchase.
Wow.
David, tell me this. I feel like what you guys do is not easy, very hard. No. And I say this having been on the brand side and also on the agency side. I mean, honestly, it's about half and half for me. I feel like anytime you get into design, now we got a can of worms. Like Pandora's box has been opened. Everybody's got a feeling, and then you got to suss out like, okay, whose feelings here are important. And then you got to suss out like, who's the real decision maker? Like, what are their feelings, and then somehow you guys have to synthesize that and then physically represent emotion in a way that the brand likes, but is also going to make them money. I mean, this to me is like not an easy work. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Design's a fun one because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Everyone has their own taste, their own opinion. But I think you kind of started to touch on one of the biggest problems that this industry has is the bigger the brand gets, very oftentimes brand gets in the way of the bottom line, right? Folks are like, oh, well, look at what Nike's doing. Look at this beautiful thing they put. And I tell them, listen, when you're a $1 billion company, you can do whatever you want. But when every 0.5% on your conversion matters, you have to make the choices that are better for conversion and not necessarily for visuals. So I think that's kind of the hardest part of our job is we're always trying to balance how do you keep things on brand, looking nice, looking clean, but also make them, direct response enough to convert, like conversion heavy enough, right? So
Yeah.
that's always kind of the balance you're looking for.
Could you talk a little bit about, what brands should be doing, what they should look out for if there's kind of a checklist of 3 things brands should be doing to really push that conversion up? Because
Yeah.
that's the lifeblood of D2C brands.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some things that I think just everyone across the board should be doing, right? As attention spans online get smaller, right? You have
Yeah.
seconds to convince someone to stay
Yeah.
on your page. So some of those things are, any type of social proof. So whether that be logos of where you've been featured, if you don't have any logos, UGC content of folks using the
Okay.
product, talking about it. All of that is so cheap to get now, right? There's tons of these creator pods. You don't have to pay $500-$600 a video anymore. You could get it for much less, and it's
Yeah.
important for folks, for potential customers to see other people using the product, because professional photography, videography, like, consumers now are smart. They know you could go buy that, and they're trying to see folks that are actually using it.
Yeah.
Um, I always say, there's no need to kind of reinvent the wheel. You got to look at what's working. So one of the biggest things we suggest to folks is, if you have predictable shipping times, put that right where your buy
Oh,
button is, right? Amazon did the research. We don't have
Yeah.
to guess. They
great
paid
point.
tons of money to research this. We know it works. So
Yeah.
sites that can put, ships in 2 days, delivers in three, whatever it may be, or, order in the next 2 hours, get it by, Monday. So those are the type of things that help folks trust the brand, know that, hey, it's not a drop shipping company that I'm gonna have to wait 5 weeks to get my product. I know it's
Right.
coming fast. Folks that are offering any kind of guarantees, like money back guarantees or free refunds, like most people's initial objection is, I don't know this brand. I don't know who this is. I've
Yeah.
never ordered it. So any type, it basically, this all boils down to one thing, and it's, how do you build trust without being able to talk to your consumer? And that's what I always say is, focus on that first and foremost, right in your buy box.
That's incredible.
David, tell me this. I would think that some people are coming to you and they're saying, David, I want a massive custom job.
Mhm.
It's probably gonna take us a year, and it's gonna be a lot. And you probably have other people who come to you and like, I want a massive custom job, but then you start talking to me, you're like, brother, I mean, I think you probably got some out of the box options you should just go and turn on
Yeah.
over here. I mean, do you feel the clients that you work for, what's the gap on, no, there are true, very custom solutions that brands need, that we are working on, that we are delivering for them too, and what's the other side of this, where it's like, yeah, a few cosmetic things and we'll get you out the door. What's your clientele coming to you look like on that span?
Yeah, I mean, we get both. Most of the folks we work with, they're more on, hey, like custom solution or custom features, but a lot of the folks do come and say, hey, here's the business goal we're trying to achieve. And then our role is often to say, okay, well,
I
here's the
see.
apps you should use. And
I
you
see.
can you can plug and play. You might not need to build something custom. But a lot of the folks we work with, there are folks that are established, they have product market fit, and now they're trying to invest in their technology to maybe reduce how much, human capital they need, or how much time is spent on things. But we always suggest the plug and play model if it exists, right?
I
Because
see.
custom code, we don't want to manage it for anyone either, right? It's a headache. It needs to be maintained. We much prefer doing the strategy piece of it.
Yeah.
So
I see.
if there's a way for us to say, hey, this app exists, just go pay for it, we'll help you set it up, we'll help you install it, we will always take that approach.
This I think is, I find this interesting because, some people might say like, "Ooh, I build a custom thing. It takes a long time, and then I got to maintain it for you forever. And so let's go that route."
Yeah,
I find this compelling that you're like, "No, if it exists, like we want you to plug and
yeah.
play. Easier for you, easier for me." That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why our reputation precedes us in that fact, is like, we're not agency guys, we're ecom guys. So we'll
That's
tell you, this
awesome,
is the
man.
best ecom app. Go use it. with sometimes it's against our interests financially, but overall you're going to give the client a better result, and
Yeah,
down the line that'll return tenfold. So
that's incredible.
I mean, speaking of incredible websites, We Are Peachy, your website is absolutely incredible, by the
It
way.
is. It is.
Do you have any folks that you're looking to outside of the DTC space, outside of the
Mhm.
e-commerce space, where you really appreciate their incredible website, where you kind of look to them and you're like, gosh, that's a really inspiring way that they have kind of built that out?
Yeah, I mean, when we were designing this one, I don't know if we used any like as inspiration, but I often come across many sites, not necessarily in e-commerce, where I'm just
Sure.
like, hey, this is a pretty cool idea, right? Sometimes it's very
Uh-huh.
kind of out of the box. But we've worked with clients outside of the e-com space as well. Like we have some, we do a lot of venture capital websites, funds, things
Nice.
like that. Um, so yeah, I
Wow.
mean, it really
Great, man.
depends on like what industry it is, but there's oftentimes what I would say is it's not, oh my God, this whole site is great. There very often it's, wow, look at this one thing that they did on this site and how
Nice.
I
innovative
see.
that is, and how that, how those that little piece can give you a big boost in experience.
Yeah. Totally
David,
agree.
I have heard some. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I have heard
Mhm.
something related to you about the Frankenstein stack framing. Something. Am I hitting this right? Am I saying this the
Yeah,
right way? Tell me about
yeah,
this.
so a lot of folks come and they say, "Hey, well, I bought the Shopify theme and we worked with it, and now we want to build some stuff on top of it, but we don't want to rebuild." And I always say, you're kind of creating a Frankenstein product when you do that, right? That's why we kind of say, "Hey, if you're building custom features, you really got to think about, you know." writing the code from scratch, doing it the right way, because the what we refer to as the Frankenstein product is one day down the line, and usually we see this time and time again. Usually it happens during your best sales season, when you have tons of
Oh,
traffic, when everything's piled on top of each other, something could break and it just
oh,
takes everything with it. So always better to, if you have the ability to invest, invest to do it the right way versus to build kind of just stack shit together.
it's the worst when something
So,
Yeah.
breaks like that.
I mean, it's terrible. David, you've been in our space for so long now. You've been building in e-commerce for a while now. You are truly, you've seen it all. How have you seen this space evolve over time as we've kind of gone through these crazy tailwinds of all the things? What has been some of those biggest insights you've pulled out as you've gone through this?
Yeah, great question. Because I do have a big opinion on this. So I think ecom has changed significantly.
Yeah.
If you kind of go back 10 years ago, right, the meta ads were the wild, wild west,
Oh,
right? If you knew how to do meta, you were making money hand over fist.
yeah.
And it didn't matter what your site looked like. It didn't really matter what tools you were using, because
Yeah.
you were getting the traffic cheap. Now that's over.
Yeah.
Marketing, user acquisition is crazy expensive. So I see a huge shift in folks that's coming to, firms like ours or consultants or whatever it may be, saying, "Hey, how can we do conversion rate optimization? How can we do retention? How can we increase our LTV AOV?" Because
Yeah.
the game has changed from, how do we acquire users cheaply, to, we know we're not going to acquire users cheaply, so let's
Mm,
focus on optimizing how we can get the users we are acquiring to spend more and stick around more.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing a lot of these, retention's a big topic, right? Subscription take rate's a big topic. So all of these things, I feel like the focus has shifted from the first interaction to what are the subsequent interactions with your users.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Totally
totally
agree.
agree with you.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the meta, not capital M meta, but that is
Yeah,
the meta right now, as capital M
for
meta
sure,
has changed.
Yeah.
That is totally the case, man.
Yeah.
for
Uh,
sure.
David, tell us this, man. Gosh, yeah, you've been doing this since you were 14, bro. That's
Yes,
like,
sir.
I mean, brother,
Cooking.
we're multiple decades in now.
Yeah, we're
man.
cooking.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, David, you don't have some kind of like secret DTC company or 3 or 4 or 5 behind you here that are happening
Yeah,
all
what's
at the same
going
time
on?
as Peachy. I mean, I'm wondering. You know, you don't have to tell
So
me if there is.
no, so right now, I don't have anything active
Okay.
personally.
All right.
But I did have a few. I spent a long time building Amazon first brands, which is basically
yeah.
brands specific for Amazon. So like we would optimize packaging for FBA fulfillment and just all these different things to help increase the profit you would make on Amazon. But all of that's since been sold, and PG is kind of my main focus now. But there are
Yeah.
some things coming up in the pipeline, so I will share
Oh!
those when I will share
Oh!
those once they're live.
Okay. Well,
Whoa.
once
That's
they're
exciting.
live, David, we got to have you back and spin it up
Absolutely.
and talk it, my friend. Man, we appreciate the work that you do. Tell everybody where to find you, where to follow you, where to talk with you and work with you
Exactly.
if they need an incredible website.
Yeah, for sure. Anywhere. Our website is wearepeachy.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Anywhere you can find me. Email is david@wearepeachy.com. Pretty simple. Feel free to reach out.
Awesome, man. Well, we
Awesome.
appreciate you coming. We look forward to having you back, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. Talk soon.